Where I live, there are rainbows, with life and the laughter of morning, and starry nights. Where I live, there are rainbows, with flowers full of color, and birds filled with song. I can smile when it's raining and touch the warmth of the sun. I hear children laughing in this place that I love. I can smile when it's raining and touch the warmth of the sun. I hear children laughing in this place that I love. Where I live, there are rainbows, with life and the laughter of morning, and starry nights. With life and the laughter of morning, and starry, starry nights.
Hello, Makakilo, and I hope you and your ohana are safe and well. Mahalo for joining me today for my Listen Story community meeting. And for those of you that are first timers, I'll start off with some legislative and community updates, and then I'll open it up to you for questions, comments, and concerns. It's Listen Story. You talk, I listen. If we don't get to cover your issue in depth, then we'll do the follow-up and get back to you with an answer soon. Helping me today is my community liaison, Meg Turner. She'll be taking notes. And okay, Meg, so we'll start off with the community updates. There it is, folks, District 20, most beautiful, gorgeous Senate district in the whole state. I'm a little biased. You know, we used to own a condo in Kukui Plaza downtown back in the 90s, and then we lived in Kalihi, Pearl City, Wahiwa, Eva, and we've been living in Kalaeloa, formerly Barbers Point, since 2004. My God, 17 years here. Anyway, we love it out here in the Wild West. As you know, the census happens every 10 years, and as a result of the 2020 census, the number of people in each of the 25 Senate districts is reassessed. You know, people move around, and so the district lines are redrawn so that each senator gets approximately 56,000 residents to represent. Do the math, it comes out to roughly 1.4 million, right? 56 times 25. This coming election, next November 2022, all 25 senators will be up for re-election. And so the State Reapportionment Commission, they will designate 12 senators who will get elected in November of 2022 with a 2-year term, and 13 senators will be assigned 4-year terms. So the Senate, that's how we differ from the House. The House is always 2 years. The Senate is always 4 years, except during the census time, and they stagger this next, just so that half of us are in office, and so we don't have to re-elect every time. So the commission, they're required to, number one, they have to issue a public notice of the new lines, the legislative and congressional districts, no later than January 8th. And then secondly, they've got a final legislative and the congressional reapportionment plans. They have to actually file that formally with the chief election officer no later than February 27th, 2022. So everyone's kind of up in there. I'm sure you've seen it in the media. People are wondering whether, how their districts are going to change, especially the elected officials. And well, we'll see. So by the way, at our last community meeting in August, I said I was undecided about running for re-election. Rumors were flying all over the place. One guy told me that he heard I was running for president. So I'm not. So for the record, I have decided I will be running for re-election here in Senate District 20. So stay tuned. So let's get started, Meg, with our community updates. Well, folks, Kapolei, we've got, hang on, it's one of the things, you live next to the Kalaeloa airport out here. It gets a little bit noisy, especially on a Saturday morning. So currently we've got 3 hotels in Kapolei, right? The 175-room Hampton Inn and Suites, which opened in 2016. That's down at the Kamokila Shopping Center, which is about a mile down the road on Kapolei Parkway. And then we have the 180-room Embassy Suites. Okay. Meg's doing the pointer right there. Yeah, good. That was built in 2017, and then followed by the 183 suite Marriott Residence and that was built in 2019. And so here comes hotel number 4. It's a Utah-based partnership. It's seeking a city permit to build a 204-unit limited service hotel under the Element, that's the name of it, by Weston brand, at a cost of roughly $70 million on a 3-acre block known as Lehano at Kapolei. And so it's right there close, as you can see, to the Embassy and Marriott. They'll be hiring about 130 employees. Besides the 2 existing hotels, the block also includes the 84-unit Ilima at Lehano Assisted Living Complex, the one for seniors there, and also Liliuokalani Trust Children's Center, C.S. Woe and Sons Furniture Stores, a Raising Cane's fast food restaurant, 7-Eleven store, Starbucks, and the Hele gas station. That's all there right now. And previously, it was announced there are plans on that same block that will include St. Jude Catholic Church, a National Kidney Foundation. Yeah, so right there above that purple star where it says Makakilo Gulch, that's where the St. Jude's is going to be. And then a medical office building at First Hawaiian Bank branch is coming there. And then, so speaking of St. Jude Parish Church, of which I'm a member, as it said, it's located there. The current church is about 3 minutes. We're up the road on Makakilo Drive. So that church site there, it's 11 acres there at Kamaho and Fort Barrett, right there at that corner. It was acquired October 17th, 2014 from KSL Lehano Holdings. That's an affiliate of Kisco Senior Living. And as of October 2017, the church got its estimate back for construction. It's quite expensive and they can't really do it on their own. So it's kind of on pause right now as they're figuring how to pay back the $15 million they still owe for the land. So at this time, they're still working with the master developer to help them with the project. So they do want to develop the entire 11 acres. And so they're waiting for the developer to come back with the design and recommendation for the entire site. Okay, Meg, we'll go to Kapolei roads. Villages of Kapolei. Progress is being made on the Villages of Kapolei main backbone roadways. They've started paving on Kealanani Road going towards Farrington Highway. Kamaha Avenue and Kamaha Loop have been completed. And according to Villages of Kapolei General Manager, Larry's here with us today, Larry Sussman, and I quote, "It is a smooth ride now through these parts of the Villages of Kapolei Association." So mahalo to Larry, by the way, for the great pick there. The paving schedule is being adjusted due to unforeseen concrete repairs like curbs, gutters, and sidewalks that were recently identified. And so the paving work is going to continue along that lower portion of Kalanani Avenue while the remaining concrete work along Kapolei Parkway is under construction. And so subsequent to the ongoing concrete work in that area, paving activity will proceed along Kapolei Parkway and will conclude at the top portion of Kalanani Avenue. So also, just to let you know, the changes to the normal traffic flow may be necessary during roadway construction work, and that additional changes to the schedule may be implemented to reduce the impacts to the overall completion schedule. So motorists are advised to proceed with caution through the construction area and observe the traffic control signs in place. So thank you to Larry for that update. All right, slide 8, Farrington Highway improvements. That project will extend 3 miles from Kapolei Golf Course at the bottom to Fort Weaver Road in Eva. The construction starting date is August of 2022. It will increase capacity through that corridor by adding 1 or 2 lanes. It will include new sidewalks, bike lanes, a 44-foot landscaped median strip, new bridges, culverts, and major utility relocation. Is that my phone? I hope not. No. And the estimate completed is by, estimated completion date is August 2024. And hang on. Sorry about that. So yeah, estimated completion August 2024. Next slide is Fort Barrett operational improvements. This project began on July 31st of 2020. Construction cost $7.3 million. The contract is Paul's Electric. And so the project includes a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to go into all of it, but, you know, resurfacing, shoulder dressing, pavement marking, striping, curb and gutter, sidewalks, et cetera, and much more. So 60% of the project is complete. Paving work is to continue on the shared use path around the relocated streetlight poles. The city did approve some additional funding. They're working on concrete curbing at Kapolei Parkway and Roosevelt Avenue intersection. And the estimated completion is around Thanksgiving. So just a couple more weeks here. Grace Pacific will then come in to do the weakened areas, shoulder extensions, shared use path, et cetera. The project completion is estimated for February 2022 due to various delays, including material delays from the mainland. And we've all seen that on the evening news as far as the supply chains, et cetera. All right, slide 11, schools. East Kapolei Elementary School. Next slide. The groundbreaking was May of 2018. We have $1 million that we were able to get to finance the design for this new East Kapolei Elementary School, and that was released this month. The total project is $61 million, and the estimated completion date is June 2023. East Kapolei High School, Department of Education, they're building a mega high school in East Kapolei that will serve 3,200 students. And that's going to relieve the overcrowding at Campbell and Kapolei high schools. So Campbell High School over in Eva, it's morphed into a mega high school by default. They've got like over 3,000 students on a campus that was built for 1,700. And so in the next 5 years, they're expected to grow to 3,500 students. And Kapolei High School is supposed to grow by 300 plus students to like 2,300 students. So the project is located at the corner of H1 and Kualaka'i Parkway. It'll be on the east side there. 47.40 acres. In 2020, the legislature, we appropriated $3 million for East Kapolei High for planning, design, and construction of the new school. We're looking at a $300 billion cost to build the school, and it will open in phases, with the first phase being as early as 2026. Kapolei High School. We did get, we received from the Gov notice of $400,000 in CIP funds, that's capital improvement project funds, that I had requested for Kapolei High to finance design and construction for improvements to comply with their current ADA standards. And that was released. Slide 15. UH West Oahu, we were able to get $3.5 million in CIP funding that I requested, and that's also been released. Slide 16. So we're moving over to Kalaeloa. Barbers Point Solar Project. This is also known as the Kalaeloa Homeland Solar. This is a community-based renewable energy, or CBRE, project that's being built on Hawaiian homelands on the boundary of Barbers Point Naval Air Station as designated. This map here, it's located on 3 parcels of DHHL land totaling 100 acres along Coral Sea Road. So this CBRE project will allow beneficiaries to buy into the program who cannot put it on their roof, solar panels on the roof, and will produce enough energy to power 6,200 homes. I talked about this concept of CBRE at our last meeting in August. It's just very cool. We passed it, I think it's 2015 when I was the chair of the Energy Environment Committee. But anyway, the gist of it is that you can buy however many solar panels that you want in this project, and then the amount of solar energy produced by those panels will be deducted from your own electric bill. So as a community benefits package, Interjex, that's the name of the developer, they will provide the Kapolei Community Development Corporation, KCDC, at least $35,000 a year for the Kapolei Heritage Center. That is a family learning center in Kapolei. Excuse me. And the benefit of working with the KCDC is that its membership includes the homesteader associations in the Kapolei Kalaeloa area, including Maluohai, Kaupea, Kanehili, and Kaulo'okahai homestead communities. But it also provides a place for all of Oahu and neighbor island Hawaiians to meet on island for various purposes. So I was happy to see that Interjex is that, when these companies come in here, I mean, this is one of the most important things is community benefits, right? So I'm glad to see that they're going to be chipping in. So they're Interjex, the project owner they're also working with the Center for Native Hawaiian Advancement and the Makaha Training Center, who will be providing a solar installation skills training course for its members and beneficiaries who are looking to participate in this industry. And the project will also contribute to local organizations, community projects, and events throughout the life of the project. So they're going to start construction the 4th quarter of 2022, and they look to be operational by the 4th quarter of 2023. For you dog lovers, Future Dog Park in Kalaeloa. You may have noticed, for those of you that come down to these parts, it's just down the street from where we live, what looks like the makings of a dog park near the tennis courts at Kalaeloa, where Carol and I play tennis 4 times a week. So we did some digging, and we found out that, yes, there are plans to open that fenced-in area and turn it into a park for our little furry friends. However, there's a structure in the midst of the fenced-in area. And so that first needs to be removed before our little furry friends can frolic there. So it's another one of those old structures left over from the days of the Navy. This one happens to be an old bathhouse that needs to go. So no timeline on this yet, but I'll keep you posted. Excuse me. So slide 9, next slide. Hunt development. So right there, as the primary developer for the new VA clinic and upcoming Gentry homes here in Kalaeloa, Hunt continues to make improvements that are related to these developments. And to support construction efforts, Hunt is using several nearby parcels to provide a base, basically, for the project administration, as well as to temporarily store equipment and excess soil. So parcel 1 there And to get your bearings, you'll see Costco right above that parcel 1 across from Roosevelt Boulevard. So in parcel 1, the construction crews, that's where they're creating the infrastructure for the future home of the ALOHA VA multi-specialty medical clinic, which everyone is very excited about. I'll talk about it in just a moment. And then the Gentry Homes residential project and future commercial and retail space. Parcel 2 is the temporary construction trailers for the contractors are located here to provide direct project administration. And then project 12, that's where the temporary stockpiling of all the excess non-contaminated soil from the grading operation and road work for parcel 1, so that the ground was not disturbed during this process. So Hunt received all proper approvals, in case you were wondering, from the Hawaii Department of Health and the Navy prior to starting any work. We live just down the street, so we get to watch Monday through Friday the unending fleet of trucks hauling soil up and down Saratoga Avenue to parcel 12. And then Gentry Homes, it now has a name for this new project. Also down the road from where we live, it's called Ka'ulu, which means the hill that absorbs the sun. And it's named after the ulu tree, one of the first trees that early settlers brought to Hawaii. When the original inhabitants arrived on Oahu, they landed in Kalaeloa and they planted the first ulu trees. So Gentry, they work with Uncle Shad, our local cultural expert, and other local kapuna to come up with a name which highlights the origin of the first people living on Oahu and who were looking forward to beginning a new life. So there were no archaeological sites found on this site, and it's been approved by SHPD, the State Historic Preservation Division. What else? A special site represents the establishment of new roots in life and meaning and history that are very appropriate. Some people, I've heard from some constituents, they thought they were building high rises here, and they were happy to hear that that is not what's happening. So what it is a 390 unit residential community, 256 multifamily attached units, 133 single family detached units on a 30-acre parcel. So it's bordered on 3 sides by future public roadways. That's Kopahe'e Avenue, Saratoga Road, and Kamokila Boulevard. So the Hunt companies, they plan to improve these roads to city standards. They'll be providing an environment where it's safe and convenient for people to utilize conventional and alternative modes of transportation, including use of rail, bus, bicycles, and walking. The northwest portion of the parcel is adjacent to the future site of the ALOHA Vets Clinic, which is identified as parcel 1C. And the homes will be built in increments with the site work beginning in 2022. Now, to the east of the project site is Barbers Point Elementary School, which serves approximately 500 students from kindergarten to grade 5. And southwest of the project is a 5 megawatt solar farm on land leased from DHHL. Each of the homes will have solar on every roof. The first homes are expected to be completed in 2023. And now, yes, the Advanced Leeward Outpatient Healthcare Access. That's what the acronym ALOHA Vets Clinic stands for. The blessing and groundbreaking for the ALOHA Multi-Specialty VA Clinic was in May of this year. The VA awarded the lease to locate the 100,088,675 square foot the project under a 15-year lease to be developed by Hunt. This VA clinic will provide primary care, mental health care, x-ray labs, diagnostic, pharmacy, and specialty care for the area's veterans and for the 87,000 veterans on Oahu. So the VA clinic will bring approximately 400 jobs during construction and more than 200 new clinic jobs between the healthcare and administrative staff when they open. Hunt is investing more than $40 million in infrastructure improvements in the Kalaeloa area, which began this summer. And so the ALOHA VA clinic on parcel 1, it's progressing well. Mass grading was completed, and the project was turned over to the next contractor, NAN Inc. They'll take over the rest of the construction and also build a new building. So overall, the project remains on schedule and is to be completed by December of 2023. Last month, Hunt and their contractor, they tried to implement a new traffic pattern so construction could occur at the Roosevelt Avenue Kamokila intersection. You can see where that is there, near to the VA clinic and Gentry Homes, while still allowing traffic through the area. So on September 24th, Hunt's contractor, with the help of HPD, they rerouted the traffic, and it did not work very well. Lots of complaints. Vehicles coming from Kapolei Parkway down to Roosevelt were confused, and the Roosevelt Avenue side was backed up all the way to Enterprise. So even with HPD doing traffic control, it was unsafe and chaotic situation there for the construction team to remove all the traffic control measures. So because of what's happened, Hunt is working with the contractor to find a safer way to complete the work. It will also meet city and county standards. So Hunt is going to be doing some of the work at night on Roosevelt Avenue. So during night work, the 2 lanes will be reduced to 1 lane. Right now it's 2 lanes. It's a bit tight to drive down that way. But it's not forever, so we'll just have to be patient. Now, American Renaissance Academy. Over the summer, I was invited by the director, Damon Hudson. He's the founder of American Renaissance Academy. It's a small private school, a few hundred yards from our home in Kalaeloa. He invited me to visit and learn about the indoor vertical farming efforts that they were doing. And of course, as the chair of the Agriculture Environment Committee for the last 5 years, how could I say no? So one of the beauties of indoor growing is the ability to grow fresh local produce without using chemicals such as pesticides, herbicides, or fertilizers. So Dana and I, we discussed the potential for vertical farming to increase Hawaii's food security. And while talking with some of the students and observing the microgreens that are being packaged there as Makaha mountain farms. Damon also took me out and we visited their huge warehouse in Campbell Industrial, where ARA has partnered with an international company called Kalaeloa. And so Kalaeloa is quickly becoming a world leading company in indoor vertical farming, delivering fresh, locally grown greens using a streamlined design process with high-tech advancements. So working with Kalaeloa, ARA, and Makaha Mountain Farms has huge potential for providing fresh local food island-wide and beyond. So stay tuned. Next slide. So there's Eva. As you might know, part of my district, District 20, includes Eva, Verona Village. And so I'd like to now introduce local developer, Mr. Peter Savio, who is the developer for Verona Village, to give a brief update. Good morning. No, I said I gave you 2 minutes. I think I'll add an extra couple minutes so you can give some background on Verona Village, okay?
Oh, okay, I'll try my best.
All right.
Verona Village is a plantation camp.
Hang on.
Been waiting.
Peter,
yes.
Can you turn on your video?
Yes. Oh, it was on. I show it as being on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is it not coming through?
Still not on, but go ahead. We'll pay attention to
Can you hear me okay?
Hear you fine.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Verona Village is an old plantation camp where the people have been promised their properties back 20, 30 years ago, and it never happened. So again, they approached me about 10 years ago to try to help them to convert their plantation camp into fee simple ownership. And we've been working with the city, and we finally are at a point where it is moving forward. And it looks like it's going to happen. We have 42 families in the camp right now. All of them should be able to buy their home fee simple for $100,000 to $150,000. I'm a cost plus developer, so I sell it at what it costs and not profit motivated. The balance of the lots, we're hoping for 120 to 130 lots in the total camp. 42 are occupied right now. The balance will also be sold And we're looking at selling those with a brand new home built by Habitat. So a house that would normally cost $700,000 to $800,000, we hope to come in around $400,000 to $500,000. So these again will be truly affordable houses for the local community. We're working with the city and county to keep the costs low. They've been really supportive in helping us. They were the owners of the camp and still are the owners of it, working with us on getting all of the approvals from the Historic Hawaii Foundation for a historic community. All of the tenants of record, those are the original camp tenants, will be promised or are promised their home. And if they should pass away during this process, their heirs or children will have the right to buy. We're not going to eliminate anyone. We're also working with the camp board of directors, and we hope to very soon go back to monthly meetings once the COVID restrictions, hey, there I am. Once the COVID restrictions have been lifted, and we'll be able to meet with the people on a more regular basis. But it's looking good, and we're hoping the city will have all of our approvals within the next 12 months, and we'll be able to start the conversion and sell the property.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Peter. Appreciate it. The Leeward Bikeway. So for you cyclists, the new Leeward bike path, it continues to progress. Eventually, it will run from Waipahu Point Access Road in Waipahu to Lulu'ule Naval Road in Waianae, just to give you a big picture idea, which is kind of cool. I'm not a biker now, but I may take up biking once it's finished. But the shared use path, it will also be available for walkers and joggers. Back on, okay, you got it, Meg. We're on slide 27. And at Waipahu Point, the Leeward path will connect with the Pearl Harbor bike path. So this portion of the project is 20% completed, and they're anticipated to finish it by October of 2022. The contractor is, they're continuing the grading work on the bike path between Fort Weaver and Kapolei Parkway. And they're also working at the Kapakahi Stream, etc. All right, and then next slide, Fort Weaver. Laulaunui to the H1 ramps, the paving and the striping was completed in May of this year. And so that completes the road work. The raised intersections on Fort Weaver and Kilaha Street. The planned construction there starting date is November 15th, just next week. And the anticipated completion will be December 31st of this year. All right, and then slide 29, Coral Sea. This was completed, the paving of this was completed on July 30th, and the permanent striping is currently on hold until they resolve some issues. Queens West Medical Center. So the new multi-phase 15-year master plan for Queens West, that includes removing existing buildings and also adding new buildings and other improvements on their 25-acre campus in Eva Beach. They're making a presentation, Queens West is before the City Council on November 10th to get their zoning permit as part of the approval for the master plan. The public's invited and welcome to submit testimony by going to honolulu.gov. The emergency department is bursting at the seams there at Queens West. It's built for 120, and they have like 180 patients a day. So it's 95% occupied. And they're looking, you know, they're right there by, as Ho'opili, that subdivision gets built out. They're looking at all those folks moving in as well. So as you may know, why the Waimanalo Gulch is not in Waimanalo. It's out there by Kolina, and it's been there since 1989. And it has about 10 or 12 operable years left. So the State Land Use Commission, what they did is they ruled in 2019 that the gulch, the landfill, it has to close by March of 2028. That would be in 7 years. So due to environmental justice issues, and the city has to select a new location by December 31st of next year of 2022. So a guy named Jerry Papillo, he's with the mayor's office. He said at the October Kapolei neighborhood board meeting that they are still evaluating options. They had a list of 12 locations. They've narrowed it down to 4 that you see there in the white areas. So 2 of the remaining sites are near the North Shore, as you can see, and 1 is between Makakilo and Waipahu, and 1 is near Wheeler Army Airfield. So the new landfill, it'll have a lifespan of 20 years, take up about 80 acres of land, and cost about $210 million. In September, the state, we had acted, we passed the law, Act 73, which prohibits any waste or disposal facility from being located in state conservation districts. And it also requires a half-a-mile buffer between the edge of any disposal activity and the closest residence, school, or hospital property line. Despite my efforts to have it relocated into Diamond Head, just kidding. You would want to give the people in East Honolulu an opportunity to have a dump in their backyard, right? Anyway, just kidding. Next, Red Hill fuel leaks. So someone asked a question that attending this meeting today about how the lawmakers are weighing in on the Red Hill fuel tanks, which, as you've seen recently in the news again. And briefly, some background: the Red Hill fuel storage facility was built in 1943 to store extra fuel for planes should we ever get attacked again and our resources are depleted. So it's currently an active and operational facility. It's located near Pearl Harbor up there at Red Hill, obviously, and it continues to support military operations in the Pacific. I made a site visit there a few years ago, and it's an amazing operation. The facility includes 20 large field-constructed underground fuel storage steel tanks encased in concrete and that are surrounded and supported by basalt bedrock. And each tank has a storage capacity of approximately 12.5 million gallons. So that's a total of approximately 250 million gallons of fuel. And they're located, excuse me, about 100 feet over the water aquifer, which supplies about 70% of all the water on Oahu. So, and in January of 2014, during the course of refilling one of the tanks, an estimated 27,000 gallons of jet fuel was released from the tank. And though the Navy reported it to the Department of Health, this was not the first time it leaked. It's been leaking ever since it was built back in '43. So anyway, in May of 2015, in response to this release, catastrophic release, the Navy and the Defense Logistics Agency, they are the company that owns the fuel, the EPA and the Hawaii Department of Health, they set up this agreement called the AOC, or the Administrative Order on Consent. And what that does is that it sets up a time frame for the Navy, the DLA, Department of Health, everybody get together and come up with a time frame as to how and basically to remediate the existing contamination, as well as to evaluate and implement measures to prevent future leaks, right? So it's a legally enforceable document. Yeah, so my thoughts on this issue is answering your question, how lawmakers are weighing in on the Red Hill tanks. You probably saw in the news that the congressional delegation, they issued a letter Tuesday of this week to the Navy calling for more transparency surrounding the handling of fuel leaks at Pearl Harbor and at the Red Hill fuel storage facility. I mean, to me, it's like a no-brainer with a facility, a project that has been so controversial over the many years and so many leaks over the years. You got to be transparent, right? So at the state level, There were a couple of bills that were introduced in the House back in 2015 after that leak in 2014. And they were asking for funding to look out to how the leak happened and how to fix it. Those measures did not pass in the House. I started introducing bills in 2016, also through 2017 through 2020, dealing with the issue, but none of them passed. And I sit on the Fuel Tank Advisory Committee, and we have biannual meetings, but we haven't been able to move the ball down the field that much. So I was glad to see the congressional delegation step in, and especially glad to read in the news this past week that the Navy said it's investing over $750 million in improvements to the tanks. And one of the huge problems, though, is exactly what the congressional team called out in their letter to the Navy, and where they wrote, and I quote, "These recent incidents, including the manner in which the Navy has responded to them and its lack of transparency with the public, raise questions about the seriousness with which the Navy takes its responsibility to communicate clearly with the public about matters concerning health and safety," unquote. So now, hopefully, with the congressional team getting involved, it will add more pressure to get something done. So I'll continue to closely follow this issue. So now, enough talk from me. Now it's your turn. Any issues that you'd like to bring up now? I'm all ears. Meg is going to be writing down everything, and so we'll get back to you. Any issues that you would like to bring up or questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hi, Mike. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Sandra Jamora.
Hi, Sandra.
First of all, thank you to you and your staff for doing such an awesome job all these years. I still miss Rock and hope he's doing well. But I emailed you a few weeks back expressing my concern for all of the illegal fireworks that seem to go off predominantly on this side of the island. And I know you addressed that by talking about challenges with HPD. My concern and my question is, how are they getting on the island? Are we lacking in our inspections on the dock? Because if you sit in Makakilo for 5 months of the year, they're just going off so rampantly on the Eva Plain. You know, they've got to be coming in by the bargefuls, by the containerfuls. How are they getting through so easily? And I feel like they're not really happening as badly in town. I spoke with a doctor who, on the issue of anxiety and PTSD because of fireworks, and he calls our area the Wild, Wild West.
Yep.
Any comments on that?
Yeah, Sandra, and thank you for bringing it up again. It's a continuing problem that, you know, ever since I've lived out here, and it seems to be getting worse. But as far as I know, I think we did have a bill that was introduced. I remember Senator Sparrow was, before he left the Senate, was involved with, brought up the whole issue of the inspection at the docks and how much was brought up. I think that, you know, obviously they were saying the funding, we need more funding, and then that kind of thing. But I'm not sure that if there was any follow-up. So I will definitely do the follow-up on that. And then if anyone else here on the meeting has any ideas on, because quite frankly, you know, I did a ride-along years ago with HPD up to the top of Makakilo before midnight, just to get the reality check. And I mean, literally, when we talk about it looking like a war zone, you cannot believe, I mean, it's just like, it's like you're in Vietnam or something. I mean, I wasn't in Vietnam, but just the aerials, and they're supposed to be illegal, right? You're supposed to be able to set off your firecrackers. You get a limit of how many you set off, but it's just absolutely amazing. And of course, the animals freak out. You have people with PTSD who freak out. You have, you know, all kinds of problems. So thank you for bringing that up again, Sandra. I will definitely follow through with the inspection process, if there was anything ever done about that, and I'll get back to you. Hopefully we'll be able to do something. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Okay. So I just want to mahalo you guys for participating today. Just a reminder, our session starts on January 19th. And so if you have any ideas for bills to introduce, contact my office. You know, it doesn't have to be a fully fleshed out bill for introduction. It can just be a concept that you have. You know, we have all kinds of attorneys working down there that will put in the actual language of the bill and work with you, my office, and with you on that. So our next Listen Story meeting will be in January. And then we'll meet monthly until session is over in May. So have a great Thanksgiving and holiday season with your family and friends. Aloha and ahui ho. See you guys.
Same to you.
Thanks for
Same to you.
tuning in.
Aloha.
Aloha.